Hey everybody, this is Joe here today with a quick tutorial video on a new feature that is available in the GV-Cloud VMS solution. For today's feature, it will be focusing on the GeoVision direct-to-cloud cameras, and there is now a new feature when you are utilizing the latest firmware for these cameras to where if you are remote and away from the site, you can first log into your GV-Cloud account, and then you can actually access the web page of that camera directly. This is especially useful for security installers because it does give you the ability to remotely make some changes to the camera itself without having to physically visit the site. So as an example, doing a firmware upgrade, that would be a great thing to be able to remotely push to the camera. And I'd like to show today how you can actually take advantage of this new feature. So when you're in the GV-Cloud website, the first thing you would want to do would be to go to the host button on the left side of the screen. You'll see a list of all your hosts here. And again, we are going to be clicking on one of the direct-to-cloud cameras. So we would click on it there, and you will now see a new icon right here, Open Device Portal. Once you click on this, it will then launch a web page that will directly connect to that camera's web page. As you can see, we're now at the login screen of that camera's web page. So we can go ahead and just log in with our credentials like usual. And then when you get logged in, you'll want to come up to the Config tab here in the top right-hand corner. And as you can see, you have your full menu here. So let's say, for example, you need to get in and program the date and time of the camera. Maybe you need to change the time zone, or maybe you need to enable daylight savings time. You can go in here and make those changes. You can also go into storage, for example, and let's say you want to format the SD card of the camera. You can go in and hit the format button there. Now, you currently cannot access the live view of the camera when you're in this portal. So although there are some features in here, such as the analytics, if you click on one of the analytics, you're not really going to be able to see the live view of that camera. So you're not going to really be able to draw your parameters. But if you wanted to do something simple like going in and maybe just enabling the analytic, you could do that in here. So for example, video metadata, where it archives people's clothing color and vehicle colors and vehicle brands and those kinds of things. You could at least go in and enable that. And then if you wanted to trigger certain things to happen, like maybe you want a siren off the camera to be triggered, or you want to trigger the relay output of the camera, you could go ahead and you could enable those in here, but you would just not have the live view right now. That might be something that comes down the road, but currently it is not available. And then some other things I think that would be very useful for a security installer to be able to remotely program would be pushing firmware updates to the cameras. So you can come here to the upgrade tab on the bottom left, and then if you scroll up, you can see right here that you can upload firmware directly to that camera. So obviously, if you're working on your laptop remotely, you could just download that firmware right onto your laptop, navigate and find that firmware and push it straight out to that camera. If we also scroll down, you have your reboot button right here. So if you wanted to be able to remotely reboot the camera for whatever reason, you could do that. Or right here under the service tab, GV Cloud, let's say maybe you want to reassign this to a new host code, you could remotely do that right here. So a lot of things that could be a useful remote programming tool for a security integrator, you do have the ability to program right here through the web page that's tied into the GV-Cloud account. This has been a quick tutorial on remote connection to a camera's web page through the GV-Cloud portal. For further information on our product line, please check us out at www.geovision.com.tw/US. Thanks a lot.